am so excited to be filming this video. I've probably watched like 100 of these videos over my last 4 years in high school. I, for the longest time, have just been obsessed with college admissions and the whole process, getting into a good school. I just was so curious about what it took for other people to get in, where I compared to other people, kind of stats and extracurriculars you needed to do. Like, I was just obsessed. So I've watched so many of these videos and it feels so surreal that I'm actually making one of my own. I hope that it's helpful to other people that are watching this. Obviously, don't want people to compare themselves to me or feel like they need to follow a certain formula to get into a good school, feel bad about what they're doing, feel like they're not where they need to be. I know that's so easy to do in this whole process because college admissions is fucking crazy, but I don't want that to be the point of this video. I just want to share my experiences for other people to watch and maybe relate to, maybe take as info to help their own process. It's like a data point. I don't know. I just want it to be helpful to somebody out there because I know these videos were super helpful to me, and it's just what you have to do when you get in. You have to film one of these videos once you get in. So without further ado, here are the stats and extracurriculars that got me into Brown University. Brown is an Ivy League school based in Providence, Rhode Island. Brown was my absolute dream school. I literally did not want to go to any other school besides Brown. I'm being so serious. I've watched like those college reaction videos where there's like 20 school lists of schools that people apply to, and I knew in my head, like, if I don't get into Brown, like, I'm just not gonna go to college. Like, I don't want to go to any other school. I can't bring myself to like write essays for and like apply to other schools when I literally just want to go to one. So it's a good thing that I got in. This could have been a very different video. I don't want to waste any more of your time, so let's just get right into it. Stats and ECs, the good stuff you're here for. Let's start off with a little bit of background. My name is Anatita. Hi, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to post a lot more videos about the college admissions process. In Kansas City, Missouri. I'm an immigrant to this country. I immigrated here from Zimbabwe when I was 3 years old. I have a single mom. I've had a single mom since the beginning of high school. That's an element of my story that'll definitely be important to this process, especially when it comes to like essays and stuff. I'll probably do a separate video for that, but just as background, I have a single mom. I went to a like medium-sized public school in Missouri. I'll probably post like information about it on the screen just so you guys can know like what I was working with in terms of like my school environment. Just know that it wasn't like private charter magnet school, like a good public school. Obviously, I'm African American. It's an element that obviously is a part of all of this. It was relevant to my application because I did a lot of things that pertained to diversity and inclusion within like my school and my community, but I'll get into that later. I have my computer here. I'm just gonna go through my application like start to finish, get the whole deal. First, with education, I think this is a pretty important part of your application because it's like the first thing the colleges see, more or less like a prerequisite to getting into a good place. Not probably gonna get in if you have bad grades, don't show up academically. Academically, ranking wise, I was ranked #1. I'm the valedictorian at my school. I had a 4.457 GPA when I applied. At that point, I had taken 6 AP classes. I'd taken AP Bio, AP Lang, AP Gov, AP Computer Science A and Principles, and AP Euro. Gotten a 5 on all of those tests. I've never not gotten a 5 on an AP test. College Board is my bitch at this point. In terms of my schedule this year, because colleges do see like what your senior schedule is, I was taking AP Lit, AP Literature,
AP Psychology, College Calculus 1, College Statistics, Debate, and Leadership.
Leadership is a like curricular student government class. To be in student government, you have to be in the class. So I was in that class. Then Design Fundamentals, which was just like a throwaway class I needed for a fine arts credit. And I'll also probably post actually my schedule just for like my entire high school career, because I know that for me at least it was helpful seeing what kind of classes other people had taken that I could like emulate it in my certain scenario. I tell you, my junior year, I like clutched up when it came to my schedule. Like, going into my junior year, I knew how important it was to take a very academically rigorous academically rigorous schedule. I took literally all of the hardest classes that I could, like 4 AP classes, pre-calculus, which if you've ever taken pre-calculus, you know how fucking hard that class is. So in terms of academics, I mean, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I was pretty much perfect. Valedictorian, took a lot of AP classes that I had available to me, got a 5 on all of those tests. Academics, just be the best that you can. I don't know what else to say. Honors. I know people who obsess over honors and extracurriculars because it is such a mind game trying to figure out what you should be doing. What even like is an honor? It's hard. I'm just gonna list my honors, what I included. Hope that it helps you guys figure out what you might want to do. First one is related to debate. I'm gonna talk about debate in a lot more detail later on in this video. It was a really big extracurricular of mine. I placed a 5th in the nation in Lincoln Douglas debate at the National Speech and Debate Tournament. The National Speech and Debate Tournament is like the Super Bowl for debate. What we build towards as debaters, we want to get to Nats and we want to do well in Nats. I was lucky enough to go to nationals and go really far. Once I knew I was going to Nats, had the chance to succeed, I locked in. Ended up getting to 5th, which is like the quarterfinal round. Funny enough, the 2 guys that beat me, being the 2 guys that like 1st and 2nd, they debated each other in like the national championship round. I went to national and placed 5th in the entire country, which I think was a really big, I don't know what you call it, spike in my application. Be the best in like any given activity, right? Rather than just kind of being like average, bunch of different ones. For debate, like there was like tangible evidence that one of the top debaters in the country, and that was also like a national level recognition. Second honor that I listed is also related to the debate. It was that I was the Lincoln Douglas debate district champion. In order to qualify to Nats, you have to like top 3 in your district competition, because each district sends people off to Nats. Is actually the district champion. I didn't just do debate as like an activity. Lots of people do speech and debate. I was good at debate. Like, I was a champion caliber debater. On the common application, you get 5 honors and you get 10 extracurriculars. I think that if you're game planning or what your application is gonna look like beforehand, like, have like the forethought to like try and plan out where you're gonna do at the beginning of high school, then like plan to fill out all 10 spots with something. For my 3rd honor, I attended the Yale Young Global Scholars Program. The Solving Global Challenges program was a Young Leaders Scholarship recipient. You don't know what Yale Young Global Scholars is? It is basically this 2-week session at Yale where you basically go down there and listen in on seminars and lectures, go to various events. I'm not finding good descriptions of it online, but go there over the summer, stay there for 2 weeks in like the Yale dorms, and you kind of live like a college student for that time, like much more controlled. There's like mathematics, like a STEM portion, the politics, law section, there's a literature section. I was in the Solving Global Challenges portion. It's like a 30% acceptance rate. 4th honor was that I received the Harvard Prize Book Award. Harvard Prize Book Award is an award given out by the alumni of Harvard University, the top performing student 2000 selected high schools from across the world. Literally a book like I received indicates that you are one of the top students in your school. This award is just given based on your ranking within the school. I was valedictorian, that's why I got it, but like my admissions officer already knew that I was valedictorian. I listed my class ranks. I just didn't have any other honors to list at this point. Final honor, National American Merit Scholar and College Board African American Recognition. I basically lumped these 2 together into one line. I got them for the same reason, because my PSAT score, I think it was like a 1390. I was one of the like higher percentages when it came to African American specifically. You can kind of get like an insight into the kind of person that I am. Such a high standard and like doing well. I was so focused on my goals. Next important section, stats testing. Like I said, with my AP test, I got these AP classes and I got 5 in all of them. I never took the SAT. My area, most people take the ACT, which is what I took. I took it twice. The first time I got a 34. Second time I got a 33. My super score between the 2, a 35. 35 in English, a 32 in math, 35 in reading, and a 36 in science. I'm gonna make a separate video just entirely on the ACT. Not that I'm like an expert, but the very first time I took the ACT like practice test, I got a 24. And then I spent a few months studying, and when I took it officially for the first time, I got a 34. So I'm probably gonna make a separate video on that, tips and tricks that I use to get my score up that big of like a jump. It's definitely possible, okay? Don't let anyone convince you that like you can only move your score up like by a few points. You put in the work, I promise you, you can go from like any score score to a 35, 34, 36. I didn't have any other like tests for it outside of that. I don't know what other tests there are to list, but I took AP tests, I took the ACT, and I did pretty well in all of those. Now for the part that I'm sure most people have been waiting for, the extracurriculars. One of the most important parts really is the part of your essay, like where you convey who you are and what you're passionate about, and build to the admissions officers an idea of what you can offer as a school, what kind of student you're going to be on their campus. This is the section, so I'm going to take you through it line by line. Post on the screen like the exact wording that I used. First activity that I listed was that I founded a mental health youth group that hosted free monthly art workshops. During the summer between sophomore and junior year, I had the opportunity to connect with a local nonprofit called Alive and Thrive. They were really like the most amazing group of people I've ever met. I was able to create like a youth initiative with them. I also had the goal of creating more mental health resources within my community. Throughout that whole junior year, I would work with them every single month to host these youth group meeting art workshops. They would talk about different mental health topics, to paint and draw and like express ourselves through art, really just like hang out with our community. I'll probably post some pictures of it on the screen so you can see like what I'm talking about and get an image of it. It was basically just a youth initiative with a nonprofit that existed that I spearheaded, and my baby for the whole year. I also was able to speak at a lot of events because of it. The University of Kansas Medical School puts on the events COPE, or Communities Organizing to Promote Equity. I was able to speak at one of those events about mental health. I also spoke for the Heartland Conference on Health Equity. I gave like a whole presentation about mental health at that conference. I was also invited to the KCK Public School District's Enough is Enough Violence Prevention panel. Different organizations come to like talk about their causes and their movement. I went there with Alive and Thrive. I could honestly make a whole video talking about that. I will at some point, because I know a lot of people want to create movements within their community, not only like better the community, but also show that they like are passionate and like have an impact on the people around them. But it's hard, like you don't know where to start. I honestly struggled so much starting it and like getting it off the ground in the beginning. Genuinely remember like my brother telling me at one point that I should like essentially give up and try to do something else because it wasn't gonna work out. Found a group of people that helped me so much along the way. Make a video about that so that other people can find similar network. It's not easy. Second extracurricular was that I was a research author, research co-author. I was a research co-author. My mom is a research professor. She teaches people how to do research, like that's like her job. I was able to partner with her to write a research paper about the youth groups that I was doing and like how they were benefiting the community. Those two kind of basically worked hand in hand. As I was doing the youth group meetings, I was also working on this research paper with my mom to submit it to a journal for peer review. I know a lot of students try and do research in high school and have a really hard time connecting with professors. I wish I had advice when it came to that, because obviously my connection was just built in. That was my second extracurricular. Notice with my order when it comes to extracurriculars, I kind of tried to group them together. First half of extracurriculars are like things I did outside of school, and the second half are solely things that I did like inside of school. This one was also something I did tied to my school because I got it through my school, but it was something I did outside. Being a student representative for the Blue Springs School District Strategic Planning Committee. Basically, this was a committee that was put together by like the Board of Education at my school district. They wanted to revamp their mission statement and kind of like their vision for the school. The whole committee of like students and parents and teachers and admin and like just people in the community were like important, and they wanted to get all of our inputs as to like what the mission for our school district should be, what a vision should be. And one representative from each high school, there are 2 high schools in our district, and one other student were selected to be on the committee. It was a really cool opportunity. I got to sit along with some really cool people from my community. I also got to spend some more time with like my principal. Every year my school, they will send a group of like teachers and students to go down to the like state capitol and talk to like representatives there about like public school funding, the importance of it, and like why it's important to be funding public schools, the difference it's making for students. I was able to like go down there and like speak to different lawmakers, spoke to like the state House Majority Leader for like 2 seconds. I spoke to different lawmakers about like public school funding and like why I thought it was important. Obviously, as a student at a public school, school. Those were two kind of separate activities that I just linked together into one. Like I got the second opportunity because of the first opportunity, or just because it's hard to like name these activities on their own. They were more like events rather than activities, but I still wanted to include them, so I included them here. The fourth activity that I listed was that I was an intern for the unified government of Wyandotte County. Again, in the summer for junior year, I landed an internship working for like the mayor's office. I didn't really work like with the mayor, obviously. I did meet him, like he came and like would talk to all of us. I wasn't the only intern, there was like a handful of interns. Like he came and talked to us and we got to interact with him a couple of times, but mainly worked with like his chief of staff. He didn't do like a whole lot, honestly. I don't think interns ever do that much. They're kind of just there for experience. Kind of final project of our internship, when we like wrapped everything up, was we were tasked with creating a like youth initiative. I picked like a youth mental health initiative because that's what I was passionate about. I ended up seeing that through my youth group that like was born from the internship that I had with the mayor's office. My fifth extracurricular was that I was an editor of literary works for the Diverse Discourse magazine. This was born from my time at Yale. I'm just gonna call it YYGS, like that's what everyone calls it. Some of the people who were running the social media for YYGS wanted to put together a magazine, an online magazine, and I applied to be an editor for them. I worked with two of the other editors. So the two guys were from a previous session, like they had connected like in person and talked about their idea. Just looking for like more minds and people to be a part of it. I was able to be an editor for them. I would edit other people's papers, and I obviously wrote my own article for the magazine about linguistic discrimination amongst African American communities. So now we're getting to the school specific activities. Probably the biggest things that I did, even though they're not listed like at the top, they're really big things that I did. Sixth one on my list was debate. Like I said earlier, debate was a really big part of whole college application. It was probably the thing that I was best at. Also the debate president. My junior year, I was elected debate president, elected very loosely because I was the only person that ran. I helped to run our tournament. Schools within a debate conference will host tournaments for other schools to go to. When you're the president, at least you kind of act as like the chair. Obviously your coach is going to do a lot of the big things because they're the coach. Then also helping to put together like fundraisers and like meetings and stuff. So these applications, my format for it was that I would list like what I'd done. I would kind of limit it to like one or two big achievements. Just thought to myself, like what are like the one or two big things that I did that I really want to get across, and I would list that. Seventh, I think this is number 7, extracurricular that I listed was that I was the vice president of record for my school's Senate. Senate is like basically like student government. If you've ever been in student government, like you know what student government does. Events that we did that I thought were the most important was one, have a gift drive every year called Adopt a Family. Basically the whole school works to adopt like these 30 families that are in need and provide them with gifts for the holidays. Usually end up getting like 1,000+ gifts that we all have to wrap, organize, and it's like a whole like thing that we have to do for like an entire few weeks. So have a blood drive that we do every year. I was on that committee that helped put together the blood drive. Those are like the 2 big events that I listed. And just in general, my time in Senate was so freaking impactful to my whole like school experience. Like I truly don't know like what I would have done if I wasn't in Senate. One, because of the teacher that I had, she was so amazing. She is also somebody that wrote me one of my letters of recommendation. She was also my English teacher, so I had her for 2 classes. She was so amazing in my whole college experience when it comes to like my recommendation letter, helping me with my essay, and like also recommending me for things. The whole strategic planning committee thing that I was on, I was only on it because she like nominated me to go. She said that I would be a good person to be on it. So you guys can like get involved with things at your school, because even if you don't feel like that activity is like revolutionary, like otherworldly, like student government is like lots of people do student government. Opportunities build on each other. It can get you new opportunities to the people that you're meeting and the people that you're interacting with by showing them the kind of person that you are. You show people around you that you are a hard worker and a great student. They have the ability to push opportunities for you that you wouldn't have even like imagined for yourself. 8th activity that I listed was that I was the vice president of my school's diversity club, People of Color and Allies. It was created, I think, in 2020. We held a meeting each month, use it as a place to talk about like diversity and community and like things in our school that we wanted to change, or things that we were seeing on the news that we wanted to change. A lot of schools have some version of this if it's not called People of Color and Allies, but I was the vice president that kind of helped to put a lot of these events together. Probably our biggest event that I listed was that we had a lecture by Brian Busby. Probably nobody watching this video knows who Brian Busby is. You live outside of Kansas City. He's basically our meteorologist. Been our meteorologist for like fucking forever. He's actually, I think, the first like major black meteorologist in like the space. I know he's like one of the like pioneering black meteorologists in the space. When the Today Show was like first looking for like their new meteorologist to be like the national meteorologist for like the entire country, like between him and like Al Roker, they were like the two guys that were like, he's like a pioneering figure within space that is very dominantly white. There were not a lot of representation for people of color in that space. We had him come and like speak and like do lecturing. 50 people from our school came. Has won an Emmy award for meteorologist, kind of like how I arrived him in my application. Second to last activity that I listed was that I was Secretary of National Honor Society. Basically, our school had like elections for office positions, run like social media for our chapter. Like I post on our socials like when we're having meetings, like things that we're doing. Last but not least, I was a teaching assistant for Kumon. Kumon is a tutoring center. I was a tutor for them for like a year and a half, my entire junior year, like half of my senior year. Primarily worked with early learners. If you've ever gone to Kumon, you kind of just know the people there. If you're young, the people there will read with you, work you through math problems. My reason for working were a lot of like added expenses that were coming with my extracurriculars. It's very hard to cover just on one income. So I think that we are officially done. Like the stats and like ECs that I took, I had like a vision to my application that I wanted to portray. I tried to explain what that vision was without going through my essays. My essays are really what I think probably got me in. Essays help connect like my academic to my passion to my like the kind of student that I was. It helped connect everything like a really seamless way. I'll definitely make another video. I read some of my essays, but my essays were really important in helping connect all of the things that I just listed. These stuff I think just kind of like the stepping ground, showing that I was a good student, I did have passion, that I can apply myself to the activities that I'm a part of. I'm like trying to think if there's anything else that I should mention. Like I said in the very beginning of this video, I don't want this to be comparison. It's just meant to be a helpful example. It's up to you to find what you're going to be best at and what you can excel at and demonstrate on an application. But I just know that I ate these videos up when I was in high school. Like I'm so happy that I got to make my own for you guys. There's going to be so many more videos coming. You guys are going to be sick of me. I'm going to make so many videos talking about this whole process and like everything I wish I knew. Not an expert, obviously. Like, just getting in doesn't make you an expert, but things that you really can only know after you've gone through the process, especially with how much college admissions has changed. It's so helpful to hear from students' experiences, I think. Be on the lookout for that. Thank you so much for watching this one. Hope you guys subscribe and leave a like. If you have any questions, please write them down below. I'll respond to literally everyone. Like if you write a comment, I'm going to respond. I promise you. I'm so happy with what I was able to accomplish and getting into my dream school. Literally the best school ever, okay? Like I might be biased, but like it literally is. Please subscribe. I love you guys and I will see you in the next one. Bye.